In this lesson of Module 4, we will talk about sanctions compliance case studies and practical application problem-solving exercises, decision-making in complex, multi-jurisdictional environments. Multi-jurisdictional sanctions compliance is defined by legal uncertainty, operational complexity, and high enforcement risk. Effective decision-making requires structured frameworks, robust escalation protocols, and practical scenario-based training to navigate conflicting obligations across US, EU, and UK regimes. Let's start with a short description of the table of contents for this section of Module 4. First, the introduction highlights the intricate challenges of managing sanctions in a multi-jurisdictional context. Core legal tensions examines key conflicts, such as the EU blocking statute versus U.S. secondary sanctions, the OFAC 50% rule, and discrepancies among US, UK, and EU sanctions lists. Decision-making frameworks provides practical methodologies, including risk-based approaches, decision trees, and reliance on regulatory guidance. Real-world scenarios features simulations with hypothetical fact patterns, legal opinions, and compliance exercises to enhance practical understanding. Recent enforcement cases analyzes enforcement cases 2022-2026 to illustrate the complexity of sanctions compliance across jurisdictions. Best practices shares actionable steps and strategies for compliance professionals to streamline multi-jurisdictional decision-making. Summary table presents a concise overview of key challenges and solutions for quick reference. Conclusion summarizes insights and provides final recommendations for professionals navigating sanctions compliance. Let's start with the introduction. The challenge of multi-jurisdictional sanctions decision-making sanctions compliance in a globalized economy is uniquely challenging due to overlapping, sometimes conflicting, legal regimes. Organizations must navigate US OFAC, EU, and UK OFSI requirements, each with extraterritorial reach, divergent lists, and differing enforcement priorities. The stakes are high. Missteps can result in severe penalties, reputational harm, and operational disruption. Problem-solving exercises in this context are designed to build the skills needed to make defensible, risk-based decisions under legal and practical uncertainty. The intersection of the EU blocking statute and US secondary sanctions creates a direct legal conflict for EU firms, forcing them to choose between violating EU law or risking severe US penalties. The 2021 ECJ ruling in Bank Meli-Iran v. Telekom Deutschland GmbH further complicates compliance, and despite ongoing EU reform efforts, the dilemma remains unresolved as of 2026. EU companies face a profound legal and practical dilemma. The EU blocking statute prohibits compliance with certain US extraterritorial sanctions, while US secondary sanctions threaten severe penalties for non-compliance, forcing firms to navigate conflicting legal regimes with high stakes on both sides. The OFAC 50% rule requires that any entity owned 50% or more, directly or indirectly, by one or more SDNs is itself subject to blocking, regardless of whether it appears on the SDN list. Identifying beneficial ownership is especially challenging when dealing with layered entities, trusts, and proxies across multiple jurisdictions, as the US, EU, and UK each have similar but not identical rules regarding ownership thresholds, aggregation, and control. To address these challenges, firms must implement enhanced due diligence, leverage automated screening and AI-driven analytics, and seek external legal opinions in ambiguous cases. Recent OFAC enforcement actions have penalized firms for failing to identify indirect SDN ownership, even when the entity was not explicitly listed, highlighting the critical importance of comprehensive ownership verification and ongoing monitoring. Firms must go beyond name-only screening and implement comprehensive, multi-layered beneficial ownership analysis, using both technology and legal expertise to comply with the OFAC 50% rule and its international regulatory scrutiny. Conflicts between US, UK, and EU sanctions lists create significant challenges for multinational firms, as entities may be designated by OFAC but not by OFSI or the EU or vice versa, leading to conflicting compliance obligations. Over-compliance with US sanctions risks breaching local laws, such as the EU blocking statute, while under-compliance exposes firms to US enforcement actions, including fines and reputational damage. To navigate this dilemma, companies often adopt the most restrictive global standard where feasible implement jurisdictional ring-fencing of business lines and maintain detailed legal documentation to justify decisions. For example, during the Russian oligarch asset freezes 2022-2025, firms faced conflicting obligations as the US, UK, and EU designated different individuals and entities at different times, requiring careful legal and operational strategies to avoid penalties or reputational harm. Despite these efforts, the divergence in sanctions regimes continues to pose acute compliance risks for